You're listening to At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production.
And welcome to this edition of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. Today's guest is Sean Foster, someone you probably know from the Chad Prather Show, but he's done so much more behind the scenes with Glenn Beck, including traveling the world to some pretty dark places where he helped shine some light. Sean spent more than 3 decades living in Brooklyn, and now he lives in Texas, a completely different world. He sat down and discussed becoming a new parent, the differences between cats and dogs that I think you'll enjoy, and his most embarrassing moment, which occurred on the field during a World Series game just a few years ago. Sean Foster, he's my guest today on At the Mic. I am joined today by a friend of mine who just looked over here gave me this look like, no, we're not friends, dude. Don't be doing that. Don't be describing me as your friend. Anyway,
we're friends.
Yeah, Sean Foster knows his stuff in this business. He does a little bit of everything. I'm talking on air and off. You probably, I'm talking on air.
I'm not good on air.
No, whatever, man. You do some great stuff with Chad Prather down the hall here at Blaze TV. You guys get together and eat food.
And I drink a lot.
You drink a lot, but never with me. Which is, it's a sore subject. I already told you I was going to bring this up. We've made plans on multiple occasions to get together to drink alcoholic beverages together, yet it's never happened, and you're the reason.
No? Wow. That's a way to introduce me. Like, you went from introducing me and being so kind to all of a sudden saying that it's my fault.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Because it is. I just call it like
it is my fault.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
a slacker sometimes.
Yeah, because I in fact, we actually had a date once that I watched you. I made you put the date in your phone, and that date came and went. But I got to be honest, when the alarm went off on my phone that day, it's not like I reached out or anything. So anyway, we've tried. Anyhow, so Sean Foster, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
I hope you feel loved already.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Born in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
How long were you there? Wait a minute. What do you mean, yeah?
Good old Brooklyn, baby.
Yeah. How long were you there?
31 years.
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be
born and raised
in one spot. I'll just leave it at that. So how did you, okay, so walk me through your life for the first 31 years there in Brooklyn.
So I grew up in a crap part of Brooklyn.
Okay, is there a good part?
There was sort of a good part. There's always a good part of some neighborhood. There's always a good part of some borough or city or state. I didn't grow up in that part. Not at all. Completely far away from that.
So if you were still there, would AOC be your representative? Do you know?
No, my representative would be, I don't even know who the representative. No, it wouldn't be AOC, though, because she's Queens in the Bronx.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you're right. I saw it's Brooklyn. Oh, fail.
Let's start this over again.
No, that's cool. No, I'm from the South, man. Those boroughs meant nothing to me until I lived up there, and now they're back to meaning nothing to me again.
Nothing at all.
Anyhow, so Brooklyn, my bad, yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Bronx there. So tell me, when you turn 16 and you live in Brooklyn, is getting a car as big of a deal as everywhere else in the country?
No. I mean, I had friends that did get it. I had friends that had parents that were like, yeah, well, we want you to drive. I got my license at 26, so cars didn't mean a thing to me at all. I was a subway guy, train and buses. And
you can get anywhere you need to go.
That's where, all my days were literally on the train platform. It's like you put your head out and say, hey, girl, I'm on the train right here, and that was it. That was where you picked up a girl for a date night. It's like, girl, I'm getting on the train right now. You put a quarter in on the payphone and say, I'll be right there in 5 minutes.
That's awesome. That's great. So you grew up in the Northeast, obviously in New York. You had 2 brothers and a sister?
Yeah.
Is that right? How was it growing up with siblings?
I think that's what kept us together, in a sense, because we grew up in a very poor part of town, and we weren't allowed to go outside because it was a rough neighborhood. So it was just us at home entertaining ourselves, and I think that's how we stuck together a lot stronger.
Yeah.
It made us pretty much strong for each other.
Now, do they still live up there, or are they spread out? Because you live in Dallas now, just if I wasn't clear.
Fort Worth. Not a Dallas guy, Fort Worth
You've
guy.
got to make that clear here because
do.
there is a big difference.
Oh, there's a big difference.
Dallas,
and now that I know it, too, like, you go back, you're like, oh, I'm not from Dallas anymore. Ugh, I'm a Fort Worth guy.
That's right. So, yeah, Dallas is more the uppity cosmopolitan part of...
Yeah, it's the city part.
Yep, and Fort Worth is really the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still live in, my brother still lives in Brooklyn, and my sister and my other brother live in Florida.
Okay.
So it's just, we're all over the place now as adults.
Okay.
Some of us left, and one of my brothers is like the holdout. He's like, I'm never leaving Brooklyn, and we're like, dude, it's good outside there. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, you can work and not work so hard. Money's really good to you in other places.
State income tax and stuff like that. Yeah, there's none here. Do you prefer now Texas over Brooklyn, or would you go back if you could over Texas if you could choose? Flip a coin?
It depends. I'm married now and kids and with the family, I think I would never move back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Unless I had to. Unless it was like the last, like, hey, you need to go. But my plan is to always stay in Texas as long as I can.
You went to Brooklyn College. What did you go to college for?
Television, radio production.
Okay.
Can you believe that? I actually stuck with my career path.
There's very few.
Yeah, but I also dropped out in college a little bit. So it's,
So the truth comes out.
Yeah, I wasn't like, oh my God, I did it in 4 years and I'm a genius. No, I dropped out after 2 years and I drank a lot and partied and then I went back. I was like, I want to go back to school now, guys. And
so what did you envision yourself doing? Like, when did you decide I want to be in radio and television production? When did you first have that thought?
So it was my second year in college, sophomore year, and I started filling out of macroeconomics. I was taking economics. I wanted to be an accountant and finance guy, and I was taking a macro class, and I knew it was a sign because I would fall asleep every day in the class, and I don't sleep in the daytime, and I was like, it was just that boring. I just didn't focus at all. So my GPA dropped, and they were like, yeah, we're putting you on probation, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to do school for a little bit. So I dropped out for a few years, and I was like, I'm really enjoying partying. And eventually I was like, yeah, I can't do this partying for my whole life. Like, it's going to dry up. So I decided to go back to school, and I had an uncle that was working in television. He said, hey, like, this would be a good path for you to follow on. He's like, you're always creative with watching movies and shows, and just, you have a good eye, so you should try this. And I was like, whatever, let me try it. So that's what I went back to school for, and
so
you sort of here.
You went from numbers to no numbers whatsoever.
Yeah.
As far as a major goes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to do anything with accounting or that requires like
real bad
math skills. That would be that'd be an area that would be off limits for my brain, and actually is,
Yeah. It was a good point for me to like, you know what, this is not where I want to go now. Like, this is not it. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and I know you're very talented and you have a great eye for production. What is your favorite aspect of the business then, as far as getting your hands on? And is it camera work? Is it because I don't know. Tell me all of the things, because it seems like you, if I'm not mistaken, you do a lot, or you have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, it's years of experience, I guess. It's just constantly trying to grow. I love camera work. I just love getting somebody's vision out. I love the idea of if somebody says, hey, I want to put this on screen. How does this come out? Like, I just love the idea of breaking it down, getting a team collaboration, and making it happen. When
you were a kid, what were you thinking I'm going to do for a living? Or were you ever even thinking about that?
I don't think I was thinking about it. I think I was just enjoying being a kid. I mean, I think a lot of aspects of understanding vision, it's so funny. It's like I remember just watching a lot of TV and consuming. I mean, I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And I think that was I was talking to my wife about it. I think there was an era where it's like, yeah, television started in the 50s and 60s, but like production and I think breaking down like what good content was, I think was started in the 80s and 90s. I think I sat there and consumed a lot of that. Mm-hmm. So I just constantly just seeing that in my head. Brave. So I think as a kid, I just paid attention to being a kid as being a kid. I didn't really say, hey, what am I going to do as an adult? I didn't
because
care.
Most broadcasting back then, like you said, that was live.
Yeah.
And now a lot of it is just pre-recorded and opens up the possibility of more production and more involvement in creating stuff and thinking about it. Mm-hmm. But before you got into the world of broadcasting, you held some retail jobs?
Yeah. I worked at Foot Locker.
Oh.
I worked at...
I could see you being a great salesman. You get commission at Foot Locker?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man, I can see you raking it in there.
I did good parts sometimes when I wanted to. I mean, again, that's driven. I I worked at J. Crew. I worked at French Connection. I worked at Fossil Watches.
Oh, Fossil.
Yeah.
I think you could sell anything. I think you're very personable. I bet you could.
It was fun.
Yeah. How is it selling shoes in Brooklyn?
The store that I was in, Brooklyn, we were the number 3 store in the country for sales.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were behind 34th Street, which is Manhattan. That was the number 1 store. I was a flagship store, and then we were number 2 or 3 sometimes on sale. So we were doing okay.
Wow.
Because, kids need to buy sneakers in Brooklyn. That's the number 1 priority, is getting sneakers out there.
How many people would run out of the store with a pair under their arms?
No comment.
Right, I bet. Are your sports loyalties up there in New York?
Yes, except for the Dallas Stars.
Yes. So you're a Stars fan?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd that happen instead of like a Rangers or an Islanders or something like that?
So growing up, I didn't pay attention to the Rangers a lot. My stepdad used to work in Long Island, so I used to go to Islanders games a couple times, but I was never really a true loyalist Islanders fan. Rangers fans are kind of snobby.
Yeah.
They're kind of snobby. Like, if you don't know...
I would say that about anyone in New York, but continue.
Wow.
Except for you. I mean, except for you.
Except for the Yankees. Except for the Yankee fans. But anyway, so I just came out to Dallas, and I needed to follow a team because I'm not a Cowboys fan. That will never happen. The Cowboys could burn and die and rot. Jerry Jones can suck it.
Yeah, okay. So you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Giants
fan. I can just tell.
I just needed a team to follow. I needed something that's like, okay, I'm living in Dallas. I need to follow. And I went to a Stars game, and I was like, these guys they were horrible, but I saw Tyler Seguin play one game, and I was like,
yeah,
I don't know who this Tyler Seguin guy is. And came from Boston, which kind of is, but...
Yeah, well, first of all, you had the GM up there trade him away for nothing.
Yeah.
And then that GM went on to run my team, the Oilers, and traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, which I know people listening to this podcast, the majority are like, okay, whatever. When Taylor Hall is the number 1 overall pick and every other GM in the league says, man, we would have given, 5 draft picks, which is what the Devils eventually got from Arizona, but I digress. My point is, the guy has a history of sending star players away for nothing. But yeah, he plays for the Dallas Stars, and the Stars are a fun team to watch. Absolutely,
they're a great team to watch. It's a fun organization. So I just, that's the one team that I follow. But I'm still a Knicks fan. Sadly, I'm never going to give it up. As much as people want to hate on me, and everybody, everybody's like, "How come you're not a Brooklyn Nets fan?" I'm like, because I was never a New Jersey Nets fan.
I was going to say, yeah, because they just recently moved. You were here before they moved there.
Yeah, I'm not a New Jersey Nets fan. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. What sport have we missed? You're a Yankees fan?
Definitely a Yankees fan.
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah, sorry.
I mean, I like most about you. No, that's cool. That's cool. Tell us about Erin, your lovely wife.
My wife.
Where did y'all meet?
We met on Tinder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, swiped right. Look at that. That's unreal. That was first date was day after Valentine's Day.
See, that's good planning by you. Because then you got 364 days before you have to worry about getting a Valentine's Day gift.
I was like, hey, you want to go out for brunch on Sunday? And she's like, yeah, why not? So we went for brunch and spent all day together. Went to the movies. We went from brunch to she went home at 1 in the morning because we just kept hanging out, went to the movies and had dinner and supper and just walked around and just.
So what day did you reach out to her, if I may ask? So the brunch was on a Sunday.
We were talking before then. I mean, it's Tinder, so you were talking to.
So she didn't push for a Valentine's Day get together?
No, she was older.
Okay.
She was a little smarter than, hey, let's go out Valentine's Day.
That's good. You got a good one, obviously. That's great.
Yeah.
Because then, like I said, you get to wait 364 days before it's an issue. So did you meet here then in Dallas?
Yeah, we met in Dallas. Yeah, so we started, dating
and y'all have a beautiful,
I have a little girl,
sweet daughter.
She's a monster.
I haven't seen her in forever. I bet she's big now.
She's a monster. Mm-hmm. She talks back, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
When they start talking back.
Yeah, because then they want to bargain. Yeah.
It's weird to see a 3-year-old start lying to your face. It's because I want to amend her. I want to applaud her for being like,
right? Yes.
You were good.
That's good.
You're
job.
a good liar, but then you're like, wait, but you're lying to my face.
But no, that's bad. And then you turn away and do the little laugh so they can't see and your spouse can see. Yeah. Been there.
That's where we are right now in my life. That's the 3-year-old, and then we have an 18-year-old. Well, my wife has an 18-year-old, and I call her my daughter, so I don't call her my stepdaughter. But yeah,
let's go back to the lying.
Man,
I gotta know if it comes to mind. What is the best lie she's told so far? Is that tough?
It is a tough one because it's constant. It's constant.
Nothing stands out because it's just her. It's part of her personality.
But it's how does the kid know to lie? Like, it's like, do you brush your teeth? She's like, yes. When? I just did. I did it really fast. You're like, but you didn't turn the sink on. I did really fast. You just didn't know. You're like, you're building a lie so good. Like, you're building up to it.
Oh man,
it's scary.
Yeah, and you're gonna have trouble.
Oh, she's
already.
I mean, like I said, we have an 18-year-old, so we're set up for that. We're like, all right, this is what it's gonna kind of lead to. But my daughter has my personality, which is kind of scary.
So she's a gregarious liar?
Yes. Yes.
So aside from the fun little lies that she's telling about brushing her teeth, what have you found is the most difficult aspect of parenting in your 3 years as her father?
The hardest thing, I think, it's just trying to balance work life and paying attention to her. Because like I work from home a lot now, and it's constant. It's seeing her say, "Daddy, I want to hang out. Daddy, I want to hang out," and not knowing how to balance that properly.
Yeah.
And you're just like, but wait, I'm going to miss these moments because I'm going to go away. So it's just, to me, that's the hardest thing. Is constantly like, if I go away for a week, I get back, like there's some new things that she learned or something different and something about her changed, something about her personality changed. It's like, I'm missing out on those moments. And to me, that's always constant. Like, there's no repeating that. There's no starting that over again. Like, once it's gone, it's kind of gone. Yeah. And I miss, like, I think when she was between the ages of 1 and 2, I was going a lot for work. I was traveling across the country a lot, and it was just like, you miss those moments. You're like, wait a second, I can't get that back. And that's to me, that's the hardest part. Like, holy cow, just watching her development come along. And
we'll get into this. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the reason you travel is for sports, right? You cover sports?
Well, it was all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just different clients.
Yeah. I know it's not the same, but I would imagine technology, something like a Skype or Zoom or whatever, is beneficial to a point. Yeah. At least you get to say.
But it's interesting because she's at the age now where it's like, I didn't think about it as much. Like, I thought about it, but when she starts saying, like, "Daddy, are you going to work again?" You're like, wow, you notice it. Like, that idea of like when Daddy goes to work or Daddy's working, it's like, okay, a 3-year-old should be constantly like, she shouldn't be thinking, "Hey, Daddy, why are you working so much?" Or, "Why are you going to work? You're leaving again. You're leaving again." Oh, Daddy has his bag. He's packing his bag and he's going. How long are you going for? And it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's not fair. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and you said it square and direct. You don't get those moments back that are happening while you're away. I've never had a job where I have traveled too often, so I haven't really been exposed to that. I have moved for jobs, and then 5 months later, the family finally comes, so I just get all mine over with at one time. But I understand what you're saying. So you do traveling for clients and stuff like that, not necessarily sports related. I always think of you in the realm of sports, camera work, production, stuff like that. Yeah. But I want to segue into your most embarrassing moment, which was at the World Series.
Yeah, that was rough.
So tell us what happened there.
So I was a Steadicam operator, movie operator for the World Series.
And Steadicam is where the camera, it's basically an extension of your body, correct?
Yeah, but I didn't have that. So I had the one you held with your hands, the big gimbal that you held with your hands. And it was game 2 of the World Series.
Who was playing?
The Royals versus the Mets. Okay. And we were in Kansas City. And the shot was, I was supposed to walk the pitcher out from the dugout to the mound. And the whole action was that there's nobody else going to be on the field except for me.
Oh boy!
On the field, and I'm had a gimbal, and this came from like non-experience, from not knowing how to follow, not knowing what was going to happen, but also not paying attention properly because I was focused. I was way too focused. I had blinders on the pitcher because if you miss this shot, this is the shot everybody's waiting for. You can't miss this shot. This is national broadcast, and so I'm watching the pitcher. I'm like in my head, I'm like, all right, I got him. I'm following him up and down the mound. And as soon as he gets out of the mound, he starts to run from the dugout to the mound. And I'm like, okay, I'm running sideways with him because I'm looking at him. But I didn't look over my right shoulder, and there was a guy from the stadium crew that wasn't supposed to be on the field, but he stayed on the field.
Oh, no.
And I didn't see him. So I'm running sideways, full speed, and a guy that I didn't look over my shoulder, and bam, ran right into him.
Oh.
And it was raining out, so I hit him. I slipped. I went up in the air. I flipped.
No.
Camera dropped. Camera broke.
No.
Directors are yelling in my ear. They're yelling in everybody's ear. What the? and they're going off, and this is national broadcast. And I remember, I look down and I see the pitcher running back to the mound. He's just laughing, and I'm like, "Yep." And I got up, and the cameras, everything's dangled and broken, and it was kind of embarrassing. I went to the dugout, and some of the Mets players were like, "Bro, you wiped out right there." And I'm like, "Don't worry about me. You got a game to play. Like, don't look at me like a moment of like I'm embarrassed." But I'm like, "Thanks, dude." And they're just like, "Ugh, camera down."
So you had that collision there. Was your camera shot what was live on TV at that moment, or was it still in preview?
It was live. So as soon as that started happening, the directors are fast. These guys, sports production is a beast. If you ever get a chance to see that kind of production, it's unreal how quick and how fast these guys are. I mean, it's a skill. Like, it's an insane skill to watch it. So as soon as I hit, they cut away. They cut to another camera right away, and they had it covered. But they had it in the truck. They played it back for me, and I saw it on every other camera angle. My ass hitting the floor on national TV.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. Is there video when they cut away? Can you see you? Like, I'm looking at YouTube right now.
No, you can't find it. So ESPN,
really?
So ESPN put it up right away. Because it was on Fox, so they were battling each other. They battled each other, so it was embarrassing. So ESPN's like, we're going to capitalize on it, and it sat up there for a day, and then they took it down.
Oh, that's too bad.
And then after that, the director was like, he's too inexperienced to be here, so they took me off the crew.
Come on, put you on something that isn't a steady cam, maybe.
No, that's even worse. Those guys, it's a skill. Literally, working sports is a skill. It's a high dollar production. So there's no mistakes. There's really mistakes in if you just watch sports. There's really mistakes on the camera crew on production.
Right.
It looks like a well-oiled machine because it is a well-oiled machine. Like, these guys, you have some camera guys that have been working the same cameras for 30 years, and they're not changing those guys out because it's not. You can't just do it.
I will say that when I was a freshman at the University of Nebraska, it was actually before classes even started. It feels like maybe the first week or so. Right in there. Anyhow, UCLA came to town. I know that. Look up the Nebraska football schedule, 1994. UCLA comes to town, and ESPN needs runners and just assistants, for the lack of a better word, during their college game day production. They were in town in Lincoln, and $100 for the whole day. We own you for $100 on Saturday from before sunup until after sundown.
Yep, they milk you.
They do. I got a cool. And I don't have like a rec room or something to hang it in anymore, but I have one of the things that I asked for and they gave me was the ESPN banner. And they haven't changed their logo really in the last however many years. So I've got the ESPN banner somewhere that you would normally see on the side of a football field during a game.
Yep.
But my assignment was so cush that day, man. I was there. In fact, this is when you hear about side note here. I'm sorry to make this about me for just a moment, but it's kind of fun. This little fun fact that you always hear whenever there's a Nebraska home game on TV, you hear Memorial Stadium, Lincoln, Nebraska becomes the third largest city in the state on game day. Well, I was there that day when they were saying, hey, Omaha, Lincoln, is this going to be the third biggest city when you have the crowd there? And I remember I was walking to my car to go and remember, we didn't have the internet. This is in 1994. I was walking to my car to get a road atlas that had the population and stuff because we were going to figure out, is Memorial Stadium, the third biggest city? Anyhow, somebody grabbed me. They figured it out before I could get to my car. But my point is, that's when that started, was in August of 94. But my job, I had classmates, Sean, that worked their butts off all day, sweating, running around. I literally had to hold the camera cable for a sideline reporter, Steve Cyphers, had to hold the camera cable right before the game and at halftime. After halftime, I was free to sit on the sideline anywhere I wanted to with my press pass. That was my experience. Was a little different than your situation.
There's perks. There's some jobs as PAs and runners that you don't do anything, and then sometimes you work and you're just like, wait, I have the worst PA runner ever.
Right. I'm telling you, man, my classmates were like, they were run ragged that day.
Oh yeah, they don't. $100, and that's the thing. They make so much money. $100 to them is nothing. Like, you see production, you're like, dude, like, this is. I want this job forever.
Right.
Like I kind of do want that job forever. Like if I could get crewed onto Monday Night Football or baseball tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
and it helps that you're a big sports fan.
You know, that you enjoy it. I mean, it's weird because you can't. I'm a big sports fan, but you can't. It's hard to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's on edge. I mean, it's like, okay, you're on the field, you're in the dugout where these guys are playing, and they're working and you're working. So it's like you're watching them be professionals, but you can't really focus on a game that much.
Right.
Like when it's over, you're like, wait, so what was the final score? Like you kept up, but it's not. It's not like you're not taking it in and like, oh my god, I'm here having fun. Mm-hmm. Like you're supposed to be having fun, but it's like if you mess up, there's a big chance that you'll never work again.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you're right. Are there people in the business doing some of the things that you did that aren't familiar with what's happening, that aren't sports fans, and they just take direction, or does everyone involved with the production pretty much understand the sport?
Yeah, you have to definitely understand the sport to keep up with what the action. Yeah, because you can't. Like you got to keep up with the action, especially if you're going to follow a player or follow. You got to know. Like it was weird because I did Monday Night Football recently, and it's most of the players are wearing helmets, and if you don't know the stars, you really don't know unless you know your team. It's like I know the Giants players because I've seen their faces over and over and over. Mm-hmm. But I go to Monday Night Football and the guy's like, okay, we need to get B-roll shots of all these athletes walking into the stadium off the bus. Oh, and I don't know if
they're not wearing jerseys.
They're not wearing jerseys. they're athletes that make a lot of money, so they're wearing fancy clothing, and you're just like, I don't know what they look like without clothes on. And there's one guy there's a guy that produces that does production for ESPN, and he literally knows almost every player that steps on the field. He'll tell you if it's a celebrity, a main star athlete, or a B-lister, he knows them. He's like, all right, he's coming on the field right now. He's going to be on the left side wearing the pads, and you're just like, get him, and you got to run over there. But I don't know who half these guys are. Like I didn't know what they look like. Like Alvin Kamara looks like Kamara. Like he has his dreads and he has his locks and he stands out. But they're like, can you follow this guy? You're like, I don't know what he looks like. And you're like, oh, he's going to come out right now and follow out of the tunnel.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I often wonder, because I had that thought, like during batting practice or something, you want kids to know who they're watching taking batting practice for a game, for example. I think that maybe it would be helpful if they wore their number on their warm-up jersey, warm-up shirt, something like that.
No,
I don't want to be totalitarian like that, but it sure would be helpful to be able to say, oh, look.
As a fan, yeah.
So-and-so's up to bat now, yeah.
But I mean, it's the Yankees. So I knew everybody on the Yankees team with no problem, but like I did the World Series a couple of years and worked the fields and worked sideline reporting and stuff. And, it's like, all right, get a shot at Jeter. Like, the Yankees. Right. But it's like you go against a team, you're like, I've never seen them play on the Braves. I don't know who they are.
And I would be the same, reverse. I don't know the Yankees guys. Yeah.
You don't know who they are. And you're just like, but you have to know the mechanics. Like, working sports, you have to know the mechanics. Like,
so do you ever get to go to sports games and enjoy yourself as a fan?
I try to.
Yeah. Giants come here once a year. Do you get to go to see them at all?
I used to, but football is so expensive.
I was just about to say, the Falcons are coming to Dallas this year. I mean, the tickets are ridiculous, man. I'd rather just watch it at home anyway. Climate control.
Yeah, it's weird because, and that's another reason why I became a big Stars fan, because to become a season ticket holder to Stars games, I think it cost $800 to go to 20 games, 25 games.
Wow.
20 game plan. I had a 20 game plan. It cost me $800. And I was by myself. I was single, and I was like, I could watch a professional hockey team for $800. You can't do that in New York. You can't go to a Ranger game and get that. You get $800 to go to one Ranger game,
right?
And it's like, so I go to football and I go to baseball and I go to hockey a lot.
Yeah, I mean the atmosphere at a Stars game, if you're ever in Dallas, is exceptional.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and baseball's always baseball. It's a fun sport to me to watch. A lot of people just like, I just go there to drink beer. I'm like, that's pointless.
Wait, it is? It's pointless to drink beer?
I don't drink beer at a baseball game, like just to watch.
I thought we were getting insight as to why you and I still haven't had that beer, but I digress. Okay, so in your downtime when you're not going to a couple of sporting events every year, you like to play video games.
Yeah.
What's your favorite
Call
right
of Duty.
now? Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. I mean,
I feel that I would really enjoy that game, but I've never played it.
I do it because it's a stress reliever. It's quick, instant gratification on a video game. Like I don't play games where it's like I have to sit down and beat a boss or waste hours like playing one level. Right. I don't do that. Like I just I want to get in on the action and get out and get yelled at by my wife. Come to bed! No, I don't need to. I'm playing Call of Duty.
You have a couple of dogs, right?
Yeah, 2 Shiba Inus.
What is that? What kind of dog is that? Don't hold on. I still have my
Technology?
computer open because I was looking for you wiping out on the field at the World Series.
It's not gonna happen.
But now I'm looking up. Oh, okay. So these are kind of like almost like husky type dogs.
Yeah, they're like Japanese dogs. They're same family as Akitas. Same
I was gonna
breed.
say. Yeah, this reminds me of that movie that Richard Gere was in with the dog at the train station. Look like this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. He waited for him and stuff. It's really
that was a real movie. That was a real story.
Yeah, real story. Yeah. If people don't know this, what was the name of that story?
I don't know the name.
Tell everyone while I try to figure out what movie that is.
I don't know the name of the movie. A guy that passed away, right? Didn't he pass away and the dog?
So this stray dog hangs out at a train station or something, right?
Yep.
Waiting for this his owner to come home. Called A Dog's Tale. Hachi. That's what it is. Hachi, A Dog's Tale. So I forget all the nuance of it, but it is a real story out of Japan where this dog would meet his owner at the train station every day.
Mm-hmm.
They adapted it, I think, to New York, right? Or something like that. I don't know. And he would walk with him home or something, and walk with him. I don't know. I guess he would just hang out in the town until the guy came back from work.
Akita, I mean, Shiba's are smart dogs.
Yeah.
They're loyal. I love them. Like, I love my dogs.
And so then, well, we won't ruin the story for you, but go ahead and enjoy it later. Richard Gere, Hachi, A Dog's Tale.
They're great dogs, though. They're loyal and they're fun.
So you got 2 genius dogs then.
Yeah.
Biscuit and Lola.
Yeah, pains in the butts.
Pains in the butts, really?
I love them.
You think they would follow you to a train station?
Definitely, they do.
Oh, yeah?
Biscuit follows my every move when I'm home. He's my shadow. And that's what I wanted. When I wanted a pet, I wanted something, I wanted an animal that was close to me, and he's definitely close to me. Like, if I stand up, he's like, where you going? If I'm in a room by myself, he'll come up and he'll sit down right next to me, and he's just watching.
That's great.
It's amazing.
That's really cool. I love dogs. I didn't grow up with dogs. I've only recently owned dogs, and I can't imagine a life without dogs now.
Me too.
So I'm with you. But you also have a cat named Athena.
Oh yeah, that was adopted.
Oh no,
from
was a mistake.
That came with the wife and the stepdaughter.
Awesome.
I'm not a cat person.
Yeah.
I don't. So Athena loves me, and I like Athena, but I don't touch her because I'm allergic to cats in a way, so I can't touch her and touch my face. But I just don't touch cats because they're just weird personalities. Like, I can touch my dog, and he's like, I feed him, he won't bite me.
Right.
A cat will claw you because they just feel like clawing you because they're cats.
2 different personalities.
Ugh.
For sure.
I don't like cats. It's just weird.
Yeah. Does she, Athena? Does she get in your space? Does she bother you any?
Well, when I'm working at night on a computer, she jumps up and decides to like type on the keyboards with me. She wants to be an editor, I guess. It's just annoying. But I don't I don't touch her because if I get clawed by a cat, I think I might throw her out the window.
Wow.
I don't like don't claw me. I feed you.
Right. That's not so much to ask. That's a pretty reasonable request. I feed you. Don't injure me.
Don't attack me. And they scratch. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
My dogs don't bite. I mean, dogs bite, but they're not aggressive. My dogs aren't aggressive. They're not going to attack anybody in my family, really.
So how do the dogs and the cat get along with each other?
We keep them separate.
Oh.
So the dogs get the daytime, the cat gets the nighttime. Because the dogs are dogs. I mean, they're old, 14. Biscuit's 14 and Lola's 12, and they've never had a cat around. And it's like, what is this? I want to eat it. And the cat's like, oh, I want to scratch your face. So it's constant back and forth, and I don't like living in that kind of world.
No.
We keep them separate.
You talked about doing some editing at night on the computer. So in addition to the camera work, you're also an editor.
I edit. I do post-production.
Which do you enjoy more?
Camera work. Edit is just because I need a paycheck. It's just now, and especially this day and age, you have to be a total package. Like, a lot of people want you to do everything, which to me sometimes is annoying because I'd rather be a master of one. But people are like, can you edit? Can you shoot? Can you produce? Can you do sound design? Can you? It's just like, I can do a little bit of both,
right?
But I'm not gonna do all. Like, can you do graphic design? Like, no, I'm not a graphic artist.
But
stay in my lane. I stay in my lane. Like, I don't want to. Like, a graphic artist is a graphic art. It's an artist.
Yeah.
I'm not. If you ever see me draw art, you don't want me doing your graphics.
Yeah. That's a finely tuned skill set.
Yeah, and
it's
that's
in that artist realm.
Yeah, and and that's where production is nowadays. Like, people are like, oh, you do video work, can you do audio? No, that's not exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear if something sounds bad, but I'm not an audio person.
Yeah, okay, I got you. But tell us about some of the on-camera stuff that you do with Chad Prather down the hall here.
Yeah, he has me on as his token black guy, I guess. I don't know.
Every time it's a video, you guys are eating food together.
Oh yeah, we also do a segment called Yardbirds, where we eat fried chicken. It's simple. We both love. I mean, I worked with Chad, and I worked for a year on the road, and we found out that every time we were on the road, we always said, "Hey, we want fried chicken or we want wings." So we said, "Why not have a show about a Midwest cowboy guy and a black guy from New York eating fried chicken and wings?"
That's awesome. I love it.
So that's what we did. I mean, it's just
sitting in the back of a truck. Yeah,
it's just us having fun eating food. I mean, that's something that brings everybody together, right?
That and alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol. Yeah, that too.
That's a good one. Yeah. Of course, I mean, you and I have never been brought together with alcohol because you refuse to take my calls. Although,
don't say that.
That being said, remember that one time we used to use the same gym, and the first time I saw you there, I don't know if I knew you were a member. Did I already know that you were a member there or what?
No.
But, okay, so you're on a row machine facing a window, and I'm like a creeper off behind you, and I just start texting you. Like, hey, you're looking pretty good there on the row machine. And you're like looking around like, what?
This is weird.
I just wish that my number wasn't in your phone already, because then it would have been even funnier.
Yeah, it would have been more creepier. I would have said stop creeping out.
That's right. So you enjoy music, as do I.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you and I would be listening to the same music when we get together for this hypothetical beer, as you enjoy rap, which I do not.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite artists that I will not recognize and not listen to later?
Well, I listen to all kinds of music. I mean, I'm all over the board, so it doesn't. We can listen to whatever you want to.
Really?
I've been listening to some Christian music sometimes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've tried. My wife gets me on, but I'm like, it sounds. Yeah, okay, we can switch it. Rap music, I like Jay-Z.
Okay, I got it.
New York guys.
That was a funny thing. The NFL draft was on, and I thought it was funny that there were all these sports books at this one guy's house behind him, and then there was this book by Jay-Z that just stuck out like a sore thumb behind him.
Was it decoded?
I don't know.
I own it.
Didn't see. Oh, is it good?
Yeah, it breaks down his lyrics and talks about his career path. Yeah.
Oh wait. So wait, a book that explains his song lyrics, like each individual song?
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea.
So it comes out like what it means and where it came from and what kind of influence it has on him.
That reminds me, in case you're a U2 fan, there's a book called U2 Burning Desire along the same lines. I love being able to get into the lyrics and what was in the artist's head when they wrote them down. That's pretty cool. That's actually a good idea for any artist to make a book like that. All right. I ask this question, and most people don't respond to it, but you did, and I appreciate it. Last song you played on repeat, you said One Man Band.
Yeah.
Who did that song?
That's Old Dominion. It's a country artist band.
Oh,
group.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. I play it because of my little girl. So it's hard for me to play rap music with a 3-year-old in the house.
Not safe for work.
I mean,
or
I don't
home.
mind doing it, but my wife gets upset every time. And my little girl starts saying words to me. I'm like, wait, where'd you learn that from? And she says, Daddy plays it. That's, you got to stop it.
No.
So,
yeah. See, well, welcome to the realm of parenthood.
It's weird because I was like, as a kid, you're like, I'm always going to play rap music for my kids. I don't care if they, but then when they start saying certain words back to you, you're like, you know what? Baby girl, it's cute the first time, but it shouldn't be part of your everyday vocabulary.
Yep. No, I'm. We all go down that road.
Yeah. So I play a lot of country music, and my wife doesn't like jazz, so I can't play jazz with her around. So it's just I'm all over the place.
I guess so. Yeah. I remember one time in the car, because we had enjoyed the clean version of the video of Macklemore Thrift Shop.
Yep.
And I remember playing that once. My youngest was in the car with me. And I thought I clicked on the YouTube clean version. No, I did not. And the phone was out of reach. I was like, blah blah blah, thrift shop, thrift store.
Yeah.
Been there. Know the feeling.
But my little girl knows. She knows the bad words now. So if daddy slips up, she's like, "Daddy, you can't say that word." I'm like, "You're right, Mama," but somebody cut me off, so Daddy had to say it.
And you know what? You need to stop lying, little girl.
Yeah, stop lying. How about that? What about yourself?
You stop lying, and I'll stop cussing. Yeah. All right. No interesting talents, huh?
None at all.
All right. You and I are the same on that. We have something in common.
Yeah, none at all.
Okay. Something people don't know about you. This is fascinating. Care to tell us about this situation with your fingers?
Oh, yeah, I was born with 12 fingers.
12. See, I could have used some in reserve the way I cut mine off doing yard work. I tried to cut off 3 of them trimming hedges. I still have the scars and no feeling in one of them. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, but you had 12 at one time.
So I was born with 12. My great-grandmother had 12, and my little girl had 12.
Wow.
Yeah, it's genetic, and it grows on your pinky, and it's an extra.
I see you're down to 10 now.
Yeah, I have little stubs. My little girl has it too. So we just put a string around it when I was born, and
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so when I was born, they put a string around it, and it fell off naturally because there's no bone in it. It's just flesh.
So is there any pain associated with that?
No, I mean, no.
Like how you were too young to even know what was going on.
Yeah. And the same thing happened to my little girl. So Quinn had it too, and as soon as she came out, that's the very first thing I noticed.
Mm-hmm. You probably weren't too surprised, right? I mean,
actually, I was, but
really?
I literally that was the first thing I said. Like the doctor was like, we pulled the baby out and put her on top of my wife, and I'm there. I'm like, oh look, 12 fingers. They're like, welcome to the little girl, and I was like, oh, she has 12 fingers. My wife was like, what did you just say? Like, not a moment of like, oh my gosh, she's here, or like,
she's so beautiful.
My first words were, she has 12 fingers. And my wife was like, in pain, like legs in a stirrup, just looking at me like, what did you just say?
No.
Yeah, that was the first words. And so they put a string around it, and a week later, it just fell off naturally.
See, you would have to wait for her to get older and stuff, and then there'd be some stigma and all that stuff. But it almost seems like that might come in handy at some point to have that many.
So my great-grandmother actually kept hers, and it was just it literally there's no bone, so it's just like flesh, and it just dangled.
Okay,
like
so it didn't serve any purpose. You couldn't get a better grip on a football and throw it 80 yards instead of 50.
Yeah, you just look like an alien.
I guess. Good stuff.
Imagine being bullied with 12 fingers in Brooklyn. Yeah, that would have been rough.
Oh, I know what your street name would be, though. What's up, 12 fingers? So your earliest memory is at Disney World. That's one of my earliest as well.
Yeah, 3, 4. I think that was one thing that stood out.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse and me crying because I had to leave.
Oh, no.
I remember they painted my face, and I got home, and my mom, that night, we were in the hotel, and I had to wash my face. I was like, I wanted to keep this forever.
Oh, man. So
Good
your
job.
earliest memory, when you tell people it's of Disney World, you think, oh, how great, the happiest place on earth. No, not that day.
It was, yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm a pessimist, not an optimist.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. You mentioned your mom, and you listed her as the person who's had the biggest impact on you. How so?
Just watching her raise 3 boys as a single mom in a rough part of town, and just watching her do everything that she did to get us out of that situation. Mm-hmm. Just watching her. We didn't grow up with we didn't grow up rich. We grew up very, 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 very poor, and we watched her not take any government assistance in a sense, and just watching her just work her butt off to get us.
That's great.
Out of that situation. I mean, she couldn't pay for us to go to college, so we had to get loans and stuff. But this constant thriving of getting better and getting out was just, okay, cool. That's the driving force of who I am in a sense. Like, she constantly worked, and we never saw her not work. She worked 7 days a week, and that's what kind of drove me to do what I'm doing.
Does that segue into my question that I send out in the email? Are there any points in your life that you can look at and say, that decision would have taken me down a completely different path? Anything that stands out that you'd care to share with us?
I don't think there's a specific point. I think just growing up in a certain environment and saying, I don't want to go down that route. Just watching a lot of kids either get killed as teenagers or go to jail or end up, in for certain situations, and you're like, I don't want to grow up in that situation. Like I told my wife the other day, I was like, I literally got out of my house, and right on the corner of my apartment were 5 drug dealers every morning.
Wow.
Like you constantly walk, you open your front door, and right outside your door is drug dealers. That's right in front of your door. There's not like down the hallway, not down, like literally right in front of my door were drug dealers selling drugs, and that's what you saw as a 10-year-old. I remember as a I remember my mom said, "Hey, I need you to go to the store and get some milk." And I was like, "All right, Mom, I'm running." And I think I was 12. I opened a door, and as soon as I opened the door, I saw 3 undercover cops with guns drawn arrest these guys, pull out guns, and I'm like, huh. So I closed the door. I was like, "Ma, I can't get milk right now because there's a drug bust going on outside."
Oh, man.
So it's like you see that kind of thing. You're constantly saying to yourself, like, I don't want to end up down that route. I want to go this route because I'm too pretty for jail.
True that. Like, a handsome man, ladies and gentlemen. So growing up there on the mean streets of Brooklyn, quite literally.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with anybody that you grew up with in the neighborhood?
Facebook, because of that. That's what I mean. But I'm not really.
How are they doing?
Everybody's hunkered down. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are still there, and I have a core group of friends that we grew up with. I was 14 years old. It's like, all right, we're all going to get out of the situation. I think that was also helped me out too. Like, I could have hung out with the other kids that started cutting school and doing things, and I stuck.
But these are the people that if they ever came to Dallas, in theory, you would probably go hang out with them and have a beer, correct?
No, not yet. I don't drink beer. That's what it is. I drink a lot of scotch.
Okay. Wait to find an out in the contract there, Sean. Got it. What's something you want to do, accomplish in your lifetime? I love this. Tell us about.
Was it Patagonia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to travel.
I think that'd be a beautiful trip.
I didn't do a lot of traveling as a young kid. I'm thankful for work. I got to travel a few places. I just want to get that travel bug, but Patagonia just looks so gorgeous.
Yeah, sure does. What's the most memorable place you've ever been to then? Besides this studio with me. Other than that, I mean.
Yeah, this studio is gorgeous.
Yeah.
These 4 walls. Wow, the place I've been that has stood out to me.
I can edit this for time if you
like. I like Sweden.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sweden was nice. It was good to see that country. I'm a Caribbean person, so I like Turks and Caicos. That was gorgeous. That beach is beautiful. The people were great. Island was small.
I pretty much mentioned to everybody. You ever been to Charleston, South Carolina? If not, you got to get there.
Yeah, I went there, but I didn't go there for fun.
Okay.
I went there. Yeah.
It's kind of like one of these sporting events. You go there and you have to work.
Yeah.
Right?
It was that one was that was when the massacre, the church massacre.
Oh.
So that was I didn't really go to South Carolina for fun. So that's something that doesn't stick out in my head.
Wow.
Like I went to Thailand with Glenn, and that was supposed to be, oh my God, you went to Thailand? I was like, yeah, I went to Thailand to report on child sex slavery. So again, it's just like
you've got memories for all of these places.
Yeah, like I went to Mexico. Mexico City was gorgeous. Yeah, but we also went for child slavery, and it's not really fun.
Yeah, okay.
And you don't want to ever go back to Thailand. Like I don't want to ever. Like Thailand was gorgeous. It's poverty culture is amazing. It was gorgeous. But that underlying seedy factor, I'm like, I don't want to support any of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, that was a
thanks, Keith.
Uplifting part of the conversation.
That's why I want to go to Turks and Caicos, go on a beach, sip a Corona.
I was going to say, have you ever been anywhere where you didn't have to cover tragedy at the same time?
Yeah, that's what you get for working in news, people.
Yeah, that's right.
That's news for you.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about any of your regrets in your life?
No.
Not here. Not
here.
Today. Okay.
I don't have regrets really right now.
You've kind of talked about your bucket list already, more travel. What's the one place that you want to get to that you have not been besides Patagonia?
I would love to go to Japan.
Why is that?
Just to see it. Just to see that side of the world.
Okay.
And it's funny because when I talked about that culture was almost wiped out during World War II in a sense. They had to parts of it had to rebuild. Yeah, they lost a lot of their history. It's just just see the transformation, see what that new culture is like, but also see just a different world. It's not American. It's Western and Eastern culture. Just to see this difference would be to me amazing.
I was reading something not too long ago about the irony is that when they were getting ready to drop the bombs. They were looking for, I forget if it was in both cities or one of them, a church steeple. Like, that's your marker. How ironic is that? Of where you're going to, when you see that, that's where we're dropping the bomb.
Really?
Yeah, it's terrible. And it really wiped out. There was apparently a growing Christian population in Japan, which you don't think Christianity whatsoever today with Japan. And I have to go and fact check this. but I think that they were centered in those cities that
Oh my
were bombed.
goodness.
So, or at least one of them, like I said. Anyway, just terrible to think.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been, I guess, but
I don't know. For some reason, Japan has always been like on the bucket list.
yeah, it looks like a beautiful place. Cherry
Yeah,
blossoms.
it's different. Again, there's different cultures or something. I mean, just even going around America would be great because there's different parts of, like you said, Nebraska's different from New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'd love to see Japan, to see that whole world.
Anything that we have not covered here today that maybe we need to go back over and
No.
revisit? We've covered a lot of ground.
We did cover a lot of ground.
It's almost like having a beer at this point is
Yeah, we should have a
pointless.
beer.
We've already-
What time is it?
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, I'm drinking coffee, but there might be some Baileys in this coffee too.
Social media handles, where can people find you online if you want them to find you?
I'm on Instagram a lot. Sean Ryan's one, SeanRyans 1.
Okay, Instagram. That's it? That's it
Yeah,
for
that's
you?
usually because my Facebook is blocked because I just want that for like family and friends in a sense.
Got it. Got it.
I'm not a Twitter person. I don't understand Twitter that much. I'm sound like a boomer, but
How old are you?
too much. I'm 39.
39. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm older than you, and I am. That's the only place I am.
But see, Twitter is just it's just arguing and it's a
it is if you want it to be. You don't have to engage. You could just post.
No, it's weird. Like I went on Twitter once to complain to Call of Duty, Activision, as a matter of fact, because I sent emails. I tried to go down the proper route. I was like, I'm sending emails, and I went on Twitter. I was like, let me send a Twitter link, and then I commented on Twitter, and I started getting attacked. I was like, wait, I'm not trying to attack him. I just want to ask a question on Twitter. But you have to argue on Twitter. I think that's where people get all the bravery. Is on Twitter.
Oh yeah, faceless.
You start just saying whatever you want to say, and you could attack somebody, and it goes. I mean, Twitter's just so fast. It's quick.
That's true. That's true. For me, it's impossible to keep up. There's too much going on. I'm with you on that.
I go there for I have a Twitter handle, but I don't go on it. But I go there to check on news and updates and see what's trending, just to see. But it's to try to follow what's try to navigate life, like what's trending, what are people talking about. But I'm not a Twitter. Like I don't tweet. It's if you go on my Twitter, like I have I think 7 tweets, and it's all random different. It's like one is about video game, the other one is talking about Walking Dead, because I did that Talking Dead with Jeffy.
Yeah.
And
Talking Walking Dead.
Yeah, and then I did another thing was about just some random thought or lyric that I was probably drinking one night by myself. I was like, I'm gonna start a Twitter fight.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah,
aren't
pretty
you?
much.
Yeah, all right. Sean Foster, catch him on Instagram at Sean Ryans 1. That's SeanRyans, the number 1. You can catch him with his Yardbird videos with Chad Prather, and he is typically the man behind the camera, bringing you the images, the memorable shots from sporting events and other such places.
When he's not falling.
He's not falling and stuff. And, he also, these trips that you've made with Glenn to these terrible places, I'm sure there's some memories there that have stuck with you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's life though. You got to experience it. I mean, it builds you up, builds up character, but it also makes you realize that what you're doing the job for. Like, I like storytelling. If nobody was there to document stories like that, how would it get out?
That's true. That's true. And here's a great way to end the podcast. I'm being sarcastic when I say this, but of these terrible trips that you've taken to Mexico City and to Thailand with Glenn, what's something that really sticks out and still affects you, if you care to discuss it?
It's that. It's knowing that, these kids are victims and children. It stands out. But again, you need somebody to document. You need somebody to tell that story.
Is that tough? Maybe you experience these and you want to break down and cry, but you got to keep rolling and holding the camera upright.
Oh yeah, I mean that coming back from Thailand and Mexico City, both it broke me a couple times. I'm human, so you can't. But you can't in that moment. You can't break down. You have to stand firm. Yeah. But the flight home, there was a lot of like what's happening in this world. But again, if you need somebody, you need a way to tell that story. Yeah. You need to put it out there. I mean, we went down to the border of Texas, McAllen, Texas, and watching some of the people that cross the border illegally, but they can't go past certain points of Texas because they're going to get caught by Border Patrol. So they get stuck in these little small towns, and they live in they take they take plywood and they build homes out of it, and they run electrical cords to a light post, and that's how they live. And we did a story about a family that did that. They took plywood and they lived in a grassy field, and they ran electricity to something else, and they kept running electricity, and it was all these orange extension cords, and it caught fire, and the whole thing burned down. And it's like these people, like, you walk in and they literally live in this 10 by 10 plywood home that they stapled together with all the kids, and this clothes burned and cinched, and they just look at you and they're smiling. Kids don't know the difference because they're kids, and you're showing this story, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, wow.
But you need it. Again, it's storytelling. To me, it's like, okay, let's get it out. But yeah, it breaks you.
You've seen some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows what else you're going to end up seeing in this crazy world.
Yeah.
Sean Foster joining me here on At the Mic. I really appreciate your time and you telling us about your awesome life, man.
This was fun.
Cool.
Let's get a drink sometime.
Okay, well, I mean, you know my number, brother. See you later.
This has been At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production. Look for At the Mic Show on Twitter to connect.